Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour. I'm your host, Matthew Hawkins, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Ed Carbajal, and on a weekly basis, we plan to bring you the biggest news and interviews in the world of combat sports. This week, we are joined by Bellator 226 fighter Jake Smith, looking forward to his big battle with Adam Piccolotti on September 7th. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Jake, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're on the road on your way to training, actually.
Yeah.
So as I was doing my homework for you, the first thing that jumped out at me is your fighter, your nickname, the Half Black Attack.
I knew that's where you were going. Yeah, that is I. I am the Half Black Attack.
So, I mean, is the answer to that obvious of where it came from, or how did you come up with it?
I didn't see. Here's the thing. Here's my rule when it comes to nicknames and MMA and all that crap. I don't know. Am I allowed to cuss? Like, what are the rules here?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, fighters typically are not supposed to come up with their own nickname. I mean, everyone wants to be called like, oh, I'm the Hammer, or I'm the, whatever badass nickname they can come up with, but I feel like a nickname has to be kind of given to you. It's kind of being earned. And I had a buddy who, I guess he was a coach, wrestling coach named Alex Bubb. He was an All-American wrestler, and he's half black himself. And he would always joke, like, I knew there was something about you, Jake. I knew you were a African, and yada yada yada. And one day he started calling me the Half Black Attack. So, I just hilarious. And why not? It kind of is who I am. I am half black. People do not know that by looking at me. They always think I'm like Lebanese or Italian or something like that. But and I attack people, I guess. So it works.
Yeah, it sure does. You actually just taught me a new phrase. I never heard of African before either. So that's pretty cool. Thank you. Oh, he's breaking up because he's on the road. Oh, no. Did we lose him?
I don't know.
Jake, I don't know if you can still hear us. I think we lost you.
Oh, there you are. You back?
Okay. Yeah. I could hear you guys the whole time, so I guess
okay.
that was not.
You just froze out. So what got you into MMA? You did some wrestling in college. What was the was it something you were always into? Did you grow up a fan of the sport and just want to get into it, or is it something that kind of fell into your lap?
Yeah. So I got into MMA pretty young. I mean, not the whole training aspect, but I followed the sport. I was probably like 6th grade around then when I went to my very first fight. Funny enough, my first fight was out here in the Northwest, and Chris Lieben was on the card back when he was a nobody, regional scene, and I always wanted to be a boxer growing up, but then I fell in love with wrestling at a young age, and then once I saw that there was a sport where you can box and use wrestling, I was like, oh, that's it right there. That's what I'm doing. And I kind of had my mind set on that since I was about, 10 years old.
So, you just mentioned boxing. Your opponent that you're fighting at Bellator 226, Piccolotti, he's actually never been knocked out from the research I've done anyway. Is that something that you're looking to add as like a feather in your cap, or do you just plan to win by any means necessary? I know you don't want to give anything away.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it takes, honestly, man. A win's a win. I mean, I hit hard. I don't think that's a secret. I mean, my last fight was against Steve Cazzola. He's never been knocked out before, and then I think it happened. I just don't win. At the end of the day, that's all I care about. I don't care how I get it. It could be a decision. It could be a submission. It could be, knockout, whatever. But, whatever it takes, man. Whatever he presents to me, I'm fucking taking it.
Did you happen to watch his fight with Vincent Henderson? I'm assuming you watched that. Did you think he won that fight?
It was close, man. It's hard to say who won and who didn't. I mean, there's a lot of exchanges and grappling and stuff. Yeah, he's a scrappy motherfucker. So, I'm looking forward to the challenge. It sounds pretty typical of a fighter to say, but like I feel like this is a great test for me because I feel like Bellator doesn't know exactly what to do with me since I came in, knocked this dude out, and I've been out for so long. So I feel like he's kind of in the top of the division / mid lower like top 10 of the division. So it's a good test to see where I'm at, and like I said, he's scrappy, man, and he can compete with anybody. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Jake, the thing you said about Bellator not knowing what to do with you, I was wondering if you think you get because you have 5 wins by knockout in your record. Like you said, you hit hard. So if you think if you get another finish over Piccolotti, that they'll start focusing on trying to elevate you.
I mean, I hope they do, right? Like, I think, I mean, obviously it's myself. I don't want to speak too highly of myself, but I think there's a star here in the making. I think, my opinion. If anyone who follows me on Twitter knows exactly how I feel about the time. This work. Not professional fights, so it's kind of right, where is he? What do we do with him? Because we have all these. I think they see that there is a potential there for something to pop off.
Your fight with Steve Cazzola was at Bellator 193. I was actually at that. That was at Pachanga. That's right down the street from where I live. Now that was like 17 months ago now. Was there a reason why you've been out of action so long? Did you suffer some injuries, or did Bellator just kind of put you on the shelf?
No. I've been hurt, man. So I had during that fight, something happened. Like I tore my labrum in my hip, and then that caused a bunch of other issues going on with my hip. And it's something called FAI hip. It's a hip impingement, and it's brutal, man. It's been like this whole time I've been doing nothing but rehab and trying to recover from that. So it's not like Bellator's offered me big name fights since then. Like I was supposed to fight Brandon Gertz the night that he fought Sayat Awad. I was supposed to fight him. But yeah, so injury, couldn't do it. I was supposed to fight Goichi. I was supposed to fight Goichi originally when he got matched up with Pitbull, but then Goichi pulled out, and then Pitbull ended up fighting Roger Huerta. So, I've been in the mix. It's just been like I just can't. I've been hurt, and so it's been an uphill battle, man. I'll tell you that. It's been an uphill battle. I didn't even think I was gonna be able to fight again, honestly. Doctors are telling me I need a hip replacement, that I need to stop fighting, and this, that, and the other. And I decided not to listen to them and not go the operation route and just kind of, do my own research and figure this whole thing out myself,
I hear you, man. I mean, I feel like doctors say stuff like that because they kind of have to because of the whole liability thing. So it's how your body feels and how far you can take it and test it. So I'm glad you made that decision. But as far as training and staying ready, I know they have you listed as training at Gracie Baja in Portland. Is that with Chael and Ricky Simone and Fabiano Scherner, that whole squad?
Yeah, it is actually. We're American Top Team now, American Top Team Portland. But yeah, Chael Sonnen, one of my buddies. I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, he's talked about me a couple times. Ricky Simone. Guy, me and him grew up together. We're on the same wrestling team. I actually got him into fighting. I'm the one that convinced him to start fighting because he didn't even want to. He wasn't like, he was kind of, I didn't like dealing with the idea, but then like once he started, he's like, I don't know if I ever want to go pro. I was like, shut up, man, you're going pro. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, we're doing this,
Yeah,
and,
he's really
it's
good.
great, Yeah, we're coming up both together. It's been a trip, man. We started together, and we're still teammates. And I'm glad I was a part of his rise, just watching and witnessing it.
It looks like you had about 11 amateur fights. Did you? Has your whole career been out of? At the time, it was Gracie Baja. Was your whole career out of there?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. No, I trained. We started in Vancouver, Washington, a small gym with Austin Springer, and then later it kind of folded into / Rift City. That's with like Mike Pierce, Dave Jansen, Pat Healy. The list goes on, and we had this little crew, and one day, wasn't fighters. It wasn't like your jiu-jitsu classes for kids and activities for mom and pop. So the gym wasn't making money. You're not gonna make money off fighters. So the gym ended up closing, but we had a good relationship with Fabiano Scherner and Gracie Baja. So basically, the whole team kind of just melted together with Gracie Baja, and I've been there ever since.
I wonder if that's is that news? Is that news that you're breaking now about the name of the team change? I feel like I've that's the first time I've heard it.
No, I mean it's been a good month or two now. I don't know. I don't nothing's been made too much of it just because it's just a name change, right? Like,
yeah.
The training has changed a little bit just because Gracie Baja, they wanted us to stay jiu-jitsu based. It was kind of like MMA was like second hand, and Fabiano Scherner felt like, you know what, we have such a great MMA team. I feel like business-wise we need to, kind of go the American top team way. It's politics. I don't know. There's some stuff there. I just okay. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, best to stay out of it and just keep training.
Yeah, man. I mean, I still have my coaches, my same training partner, so whatever.
When how old are you? What?
28.
28. When you were growing up, were there any fighters that when you became a fan of the sport? When you mentioned going to an event, was that happened to be Rumble at the Roseland? Was it one of those events that you went to early in your career?
No, it wasn't Rumble at the Roseland, but I mean that was definitely one of the early ones I went to later on. But I can't remember what it was. My dad took me. My dad and his buddy knew a guy who trained at Team Quest, and they were fighting. But growing up, man, as far as like fighters I looked up to, like Forrest Griffin, that was my ace, man. I just loved everything about it. Like, it was funny. He's self-deprecating. It's kind of like me a little bit. And he was a dog, man. He went out there and he scrapped, and that's who I kind of emulate if I could as a fighter is Forrest's little career path.
Because the Ultimate Fighter basically hit right in the middle of your high school years when that popped off. Okay.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, man. I mean, if you're looking for, in my opinion, one of the best minds as far as the business side of mixed martial arts is one of your training partners, Chael Sonnen. I mean, he seems to have navigated the sport. I mean, he's at ESPN, Bellator, and he calls UFC fights. So, I mean, the guy's all over the place. So you definitely should pick his brain. I feel like he should put another book out on the matter.
Oh, I pick his brain every chance I get. I think he's actually going to meet me here tonight to watch me train. But yeah, man, no, me and Chael, we're pretty tight. I know him so much. Like, I don't know if I would have been able to even fight again if it wasn't for him. He kind of took me underneath his wing. Took me under his wing like about maybe 3 or 4 years ago. One day I'm sparring or whatever, and he kind of just like hit me up out of nowhere. He's like, hey, I want you to come train with me, at my house, and yada yada. And from there, man, he's been my biggest supporter, really. Like, I don't know, I can't say enough good things about the guy. Like, I just owe him, and he's a solid guy. Like, everyone knows him for a shtick, and they might not like him, but deep down, he's one of the nicest people I ever met.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've always said that about him too. I've never really met him personally or had a conversation, but I met some of his friends that at fights in Vegas and stuff, and they always talk about how great of a guy he is with their kids and everything like that. Yeah. So again, everybody, we're talking to Jake Smith. Big bout coming up at Bellator 226 against Adam Piccolotti. Right now scheduled for the prelims. Have they given you a time when when do you find out like when you're gonna fight? Do you obviously the Bellator prelims can be all over the place. Do you have any idea where you're gonna slot in as far as a fight time?
Nah, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, in my mind, I figure I'll probably be like the headlining prelim, I would think. I mean, Piccolotti is kind of a big name. My last fight was on the main card, coming off a knockout, so I feel like somewhere towards the main card. But they had that featherweight Grand Prix going on, so I don't give a shit. I get paid the same regardless if I'm on the main card or the prelim. So I just want to fight, man.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, I don't have any. That's all for me, Jake. I really do appreciate your time. I don't know, Matt. You got anything else for him?
Not really. I mean, I'll be flying up there for the event, so I look forward to it. I saw you say you're looking for some hot dogs after the fight, so hit me up on Twitter, and I'll definitely hook you up with a few of them from the concession stands there.
Yeah.
Yeah, come up and.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Cool,
What you want to throw out any sponsors? Your Twitter handle, Instagram, any of that stuff?
Yeah, you give me a follow at Uber Smitty. Not related to Uber, the driving. Did it beforehand. UBERSMITTY. I'm at Instagram and Twitter at that. But yeah, just a big thank you to you guys for having me and actually knowing who I am. I appreciate that because I've done a few of these interviews and they're like, oh, put up your name and stuff as we're doing the fucking interview. So thank you guys for the time and I appreciate it. I look forward to eating those hot dogs, bro.
All right, man. I look forward to watching you get a big win that night. Fans can always follow us at Combat Hour on Twitter, Coast-to-Coast Combat Hour on Instagram. Follow me at MMAHawk21 on Twitter and Instagram. You can catch Ed at Carbazol on Twitter, at Carbeerzol on Instagram. Again, Jake Smith, Adam Piccolotti, Bellator 226, September 7th. On DAZN. Not sure if it's on Paramount. Have to follow up on that, but definitely on DAZN and any other way people manage to watch fights in 2019. So until then, man, best of luck and look forward to buying you some hot dogs.
All right,
Peace,
man. You guys take care.
All right,
Thank
have a
you
good
so
one.
much.